In a week in WWE, we've seen transfers, tantrums, and a Samoan werewolf that is now ready, well, to take over the world, it seems. And this is all on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast with me, your host, Adam Cousins, and my tag team partner, the man whose nose is twitching his arse is twitching like a rabbit's nose ahead of one of the biggest games in his NFL, well, his team's NFL's career, Mr. Andy Burrows. How are we feeling, sir?
Shaking like a shitting dog. How are
Get,
you, mate? Yeah.
getting ready, man.
I'm podcasting my ass off today. I just need to try and take for those watching, we're recording this on Sunday.
Oh, it'll
Uh,
be out within the hour, mate. So they're
yeah,
gonna know.
I'm a huge Washington Commanders fan. Anyone who follows me on socials know the NFL for me is I love my wrestling, I love my soccer, football, but for me the NFL is the one, mate. And we are basically, for in layman's terms, we're in the semi-finals today. We are one game away from the Super Bowl, which we haven't. 1991 was the last time we were there, mate. I was 11, so I'm
Jesus,
45. I'm 45 in 2 weeks.
you're definitely like every club that you have is like Tottenham, isn't it?
Oh,
Like,
mate, yeah, Washington Hotspurs we've been called recently. Yeah, Dunstable Town. Yeah, we won yesterday. But yeah, no, mate. Looking forward to talking some wrestling with you as always, buddy.
yes, let's get into some wrestling. That transfer. I mean, listen, with the transfer window over here in soccer land, it is on. Although if you support Tottenham, you'll know that there's nothing going on in that. But in terms of moves and shakes, it's happening. And do you know what? I actually like this transfer window. I know that I've been a big issuer with the draft in the past because it doesn't really matter. They turn up on end shows, but I really enjoyed this one. And so far, let's just talk about those. First one was Wyatt Six moving to SmackDown. I mean, there's no for me. There's literally they were doing fuck all. I mean, it was like we said to start with. The whole reveal was going to be better than what preceded it, and it's exactly right.
Yeah, mate, 100%. They're doing fuck all. Hopefully, SmackDown will. I think SmackDown is the land of opportunities. Is that what they say? You know what I mean? And Raw will always be known as Raw. It's ingrained in history. And Monday Night Raw is Monday Night Raw. I think you get better opportunity over on SmackDown. Maybe you might get some more TV time. I think it's more focused, and it's not like an up and coming brand. It's an established brand. But Raw is Raw. SmackDown is SmackDown. Yeah, the Whites needed a complete rejig, but I'm with you. I like the way they've done it. It's been more like a surprise. We'll get
Mm.
into last Friday SmackDown. Damien Priest just rocks up, and all of a sudden he's on
Yeah,
SmackDown. I was like, fuck yeah! I love the way it's not been hyped. It's not been done
yeah.
like a draft. It's not been the first pick all that bollocks. It's not been done like that. Yeah, I love the surprise element of it. I love where it's going. I like how, like I say, they haven't made a big deal of it. It's just like, here we are now, and it's all tied in with the Netflix. And they know there's more eyes on the product than there's ever been in the history, probably, of professional wrestling. Absolutely love it, mate. But yeah, let's hope the what. I was never a big, even God rest his soul, I was
Yeah.
never a massive fan. I've gone on
Mm.
record of saying that, but interested to see where they go storyline wise. I mean, I know they made a big deal of the Miz now being on SmackDown on
Yeah.
Friday. He had the whole history with the what. I hope they don't go down that fucking route again. They need something that's really gonna get you and be like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fucking. Is there that faction element in wrestling at the minute anymore?
Literally going to say that. I mean, not
There
in
you
the
go. It's why we're good
WWE.
at this, mate. It's why we're good at this.
Literally in WWE, I was going to say, who do they target? I mean, I mean, the only one, and we don't even know where the position of it is at the moment, is going to be the original, well, not the original, the newer Bloodline, which is going to be changing. But I'm not so sure after this week and after everything that happened on SmackDown and Saturday Night's main event that there even is a Bloodline in on SmackDown at the moment.
No, we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when you and I were chatting. I think they've transitioned really well from the whole everything's revolving around the bloodline and a lot of things are taking a back seat. This was one of the first real weeks where I watched Raw and I watched it all, didn't fast forward any of it, didn't skip it. Same with SmackDown, watched it all, where you haven't really thought, oh, I can't just wait to get to the end with the whole bloodline storyline. They've transitioned well. I'll give them that. It has gone well. Yeah, is there a whole bloodline thing now? We'll know more this coming Monday. Like you say, this is going out today on Sunday.
Yeah,
Roman Reigns is scheduled to be on Raw tomorrow
it
night.
is. Yeah.
So that will give us a little indication of where we're going and what's happening. I think the bloodline thing is kind of quote unquote done. I
Hmm.
think something could happen at the Rumble. Obviously, we're not sure what's going on with Solo Sikoa. Obviously, he come into the mic last 2 weeks ago now on SmackDown.
Yep.
Dropped the mic, walked off. Is he going to cost Roman the Rumble? More than likely. That's probably where they're going to go. Someone from the quote unquote bloodline will cost Roman the Rumble, I think, because the good thing about the Rumble is you can quickly set up a storyline.
Yeah,
It's very easily, oh, you eliminated me from the Rumble, bam, you're off.
yeah,
It's been a quick, let's get to that kind of thing. So, you know, we come back to factions in the WWE. Judgment Day have kind of disbanded now. They're
yeah.
there, but they're not the Judgment Day as we know. Damien Priest is obviously on SmackDown now. You've got everyone else pretty much left on Raw. They're kind of getting into that. They kind of tease Finn Balor. He's not going to be a kind of Damien's now going to. They should win the tag team titles. Finn Balor, what's going to happen with him when he comes back? Or you know, McDonough and Dominic will probably be tag team champions by the time he gets back, if I had to,
Agree.
and then again we'll be off there. So yeah, interesting times for WWE, mate, as we move into the Rumble. I think the Rumble Saturday night left us with no answers. It was just a Saturday night's main event. Everyone won who thought we were going to win. The adverts on YouTube pissed everyone off.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it maybe in a bit. Why WWE can't get that bloody show on Netflix is beyond me. I'm the same as you. Full disclosure, I fucking gave up and just watched the highlights. Couldn't
Yeah.
do it. Every 20 seconds, YouTube were trying to. I ain't paying for YouTube Premiere, but
No.
I pay for Netflix. I pay for Disney Plus. I pay for TNA Impact. I watch that. Pay for. I ain't paying for that subscription, mate. So yeah, interesting times with what they do with factions in WWE. But yeah, I'm loving the transfer window.
The transfer window is open. Bailey's another one on to
Hmm.
Raw, but she's on Netflix. She's obviously on Netflix. She's on NXT this coming Tuesday, teaming with Julia against a team of Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, who may have an eye over their shoulder on Masha Slamovich from TNA. More of that in a minute. Bailey to Raw, and Bailey to Raw seems a logical one, although. She was with Damage Control for ages. They're still around. I don't know. There's so many decent. Obviously, there's so many decent women in the women's division at the moment. I feel as if we need fresh faces. We're seeing Charlotte. She's coming back. She's in the Rumble. We'll get to that.
Talking of fresh places, she didn't even look the same.
No, that's she. Yeah, I think
Someone's
that.
been under the knife while she's been off.
Yeah, she looks like a spitting image puppet now, doesn't she,
Jeez, what
Charlotte?
the fuck has happened to her? We'll get into it.
We'll get into that. Becky reportedly coming back. And sort of touching on the women's Royal Rumble as well as Bailey and the way I feel as if anyway, I feel as if we need some NXT call ups and we need some people going down to NXT. That's one point. Second point is I'm going to find I think the women's Royal Rumble is going to slightly obvious now in terms of who wins it. I feel the men's one is wide open. There is so many people that you could vouch for. You could put some people like momentum behind winning it. But the women's one just seems to be, in my opinion, unless they do a massive swerve, out of Becky and Charlotte to win it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to think of where they want to go main event. Do you want them? Who's going to realistically, Becky or Charlotte? So, would you go for Tiffy time against Tiffany Stratton, or would you go against Rhea Ripley? I'm probably going to go Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley if I had to. I just don't see them bringing back Charlotte Flair and her not winning the Rumble. But then again, is that too obvious that she wins the Rumble?
I think now she's announced for it. I think that rules her out. I think
Winning it.
yeah, I think
Yeah, I
Becky's going to
mean,
win it. She'll be for Becky will be 30 now and she'll come out unless they do that swerve thing that I was saying the other week with AJ Lee.
mhm.
Then that's my prediction.
Yeah, I'm not as hyped for the women's one as I am. The men is just fucking hell, that's going to be incredible. I ain't got a Scooby Doo what's going on there. The women, yeah, I think you probably hit the nail on the head there, mate. It'll probably be Becky or Charlotte. Again, Charlotte hasn't been on TV for God knows how long now, and I know she had a massive injury. Great to see her back. Uh, I don't, not that I don't care, but I just, yeah, it needs something, the women's division again. I feel like me and you've been saying this for years. It gets a little something and then it loses it for 3 or 4 months. And you got the thing is now you've got the NXT, you've got TNA,
Yeah,
you've got former TNA women's champion that potentially
yeah.
could win the Rumble. That could
Ah,
be
yeah.
that could, because she's going to be full time WWE. Said her goodbyes in TNA.
You just hit the nail on the head with something though, because didn't Liv? I think it was Liv on Raw. Or no, it was Chelsea Green on SmackDown this week. She said that we need bigger security for her match next week, the rematch against Mi Chin, I
Hmm.
think. Could Jordan Grace come in as more muscle for Chelsea Green?
could do. Is that where WWE put her?
Probably not, but
Do you go, yeah, do you go from being a TNA champion to being a side piece for Chelsea Green? And love Chelsea Green, not going to be the future of the women's division. As for Grace, I would have her come in as a bam, like a bull in a china shop, just wreck everything. Again, this is the whole what the WWE see her doing to
hmm,
what TNA had her doing. We've seen it with Carmelo
Hayes, yeah,
Hayes. Fucking, what the fuck are they doing with him? You know what I mean? Not that they've ruined him, and we've said this for months and months, and God knows how long we've been doing this now. We say when you come up from NXT, or now when you come up, quote unquote, from TNA, because that's kind of what it is. If you do, look, if you come to WWE, you're coming up. You know, you
yeah,
get pulled over from AEW, TNA, NXT, wherever you come from, you're getting called up to the big leagues. It's what WWE do with you. What do they do with her? Grace, I think she'll be in the Rumble,
yeah,
and she potentially could win it. Or is that too soon? Do you think? I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the talk is Charlotte Flair and Tiffany for the
Mm,
SmackDown, which,
who really wants to see that?
yeah, I mean, I think it needs star power. Rhea Ripley, Jordan Grace has a good ring to it.
That'd be a banger.
Yeah, Rhea
That'd
Ripley,
be a
Jordan Grace. But
banger,
then
mate.
Becky, where do you put Becky at that point? Where does that, what?
Be
Unless
interesting to
again,
see what the fan reaction to Becky is as well, because I don't think, that they had that whole Becky 316 thing, what, 4 years
Mhm.
ago now?
Yeah,
And she was probably as hot as a Stone Cold Steve Austin was for a
yeah,
short, and I'm not comparing completely to the Austin run, but for a little while there, she was main eventing Raw, she was main eventing pay-per-views, they headlined WrestleMania,
yeah,
and it kind of all died a death. I get it, injuries. She's now gone off to film the new Star Trek, etc., etc. Interesting to see the pop that she gets. I don't think it's going to be as good as everyone thinks it will be. Could be wrong.
yeah.
Always am.
Well, we'll see. We will see. We will see what happens when because it's undoubtedly when she's been on all the Netflix commercials. So it's going
Mm.
to be a when she returns to action. Just a slide though, we mentioned now a couple of weeks ago on here, and this is just going off on a separate tangent, but we did say the
Love a
word
tangent on here. Love a tangent.
we did say the word tantrums, and just for Andy, Tottenham are now losing
Oh,
against Leicester.
fuck off. We were winning 1-0 a minute ago.
I know.
Are we
Sorry.
losing to Leicester?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck it. I'm done with football.
Anyway,
I'm done.
going up slide time, I mentioned tantrums.
I'm about to have one.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, we sat on this show, this very show, and we were saying how Corey Graves is the
Awful.
MVP of the commentary day. He was here, he no,
Hmm.
he does everything. And literally we released this video or released this episode of it, and then it come Corey Graves tweets about how he wasn't a super or enough of a celebrity to be on Raw, and he was, not necessarily he didn't really class it. Well, he was basically classing the drop down to NXT as a demotion. He said he had a lot on his mind. Next thing you know, he's not on NXT. The Tuesday just gone. Um, then there's a lot of things about is it a work, is it a shoot? He come back this week on NXT, kind of saying there's no place he would rather be. I'm kind of thinking that may have been a line that was fed to Corey. There seems to be something brewing there. He's got a long time on his left on his contract, so there's no way that they're not going to release him. But there seems to be some frustration there from Corey. Is it something that you can understand given what he's done for the WWE?
Yes, this is either the best work on the non-wrestling side in
Mhm.
ring that they've ever done. It's going to
Yeah.
be incredible if this is a work. I've got visions of Pat McAfee entering the Rumble and Corey Graves eliminating him. You know what I mean? It'll be something like that. Yeah, it's either very, very good work, or yeah, something's been amiss, and then Corey's realised, look, I need a job here. I don't want to cut my nose off despite my face. And to be fair, if this isn't a work, and he'd done this in the Vince McMahon era, fuck it, it's a bit like Alex Ferguson back in the day. If you were a Man United player and you pissed him off, you're out.
Yeah.
Paul Levesque, Triple H has obviously said to him and maybe sat him down and gone, hey, look, this is still a good place to be. This is still a good place to work. You still will, we want you here. And he's gone, okay, I'll happily do NXT. Because like we've stated many a times, I don't see NXT as a drop
No.
down. You can probably maybe put yourself in his shoes, and he's gone from being a color commentator on Raw, and he's obviously done SmackDown. You think, right, I'm next man up kind of thing. And then Pat McAfee, who he's part time with not being part time, if that makes sense, because of obviously it was the college finals last Monday.
Yep.
You're thinking, oh, well, Corey Graves would automatically be on Raw. Was that a kick in the nuts when, Wade Barrett done Raw last Monday? Is he kind of quote unquote going to be punished for it's kind of like the commentator's version of the curtain call? Do you know what I mean? When
Yeah.
Triple H wasn't seen for God knows how long and he was jobbed out for God knows how long, will he be made to not suffer in NXT, but will he be like, hey, look, you pissed a lot of people off here, you're lucky to still have a job? I still, something in the back of my mind thinks it's a work. But how do you work really without being in ring? There's only
Unless
so
he is coming, because he may be cleared to do something. Does he go against McAfee at some point?
if he eliminates McAfee from the Rumble, there you go. I'm buying a lottery ticket because, I've had an
There
epiphany.
is there is another one that was or at least asked to appear yesterday, and I must admit, if this guy comes in the Rumble, I am switching off. I Show Speed
Oh.
was video called by Triple H yesterday, inviting him. I'm not saying by any stretch that he's going in to the Royal Rumble, but that for me, if that happens, I'm turning off for at least a period of time.
I'm with you, mate. That won't happen. Promise you
No.
that won't. It won't. If it does, then oh fucking hell. I don't know. I think that this Rumble. I mean, I've heard that Scott Steiner's going to be in it and his son's going to be in it at the same. I've heard so much that this Rumble is absolutely stacked. But yeah, if that
Yeah.
happens, yeah, I could be with you, mate. I might just go and make a quick cup of tea. I'm down at my mum's next week watching it down there. I might just go and drown myself in the hot tub or something for a little bit. And yeah, I don't know, mate. This Rumble is stacked though. This is set
Yes.
to be the best men's Royal Rumble. I mean, for years and years now. The last couple of years, everyone's been, oh, the legends that have come in haven't been as good, or the surprises haven't been as good. Well, we know they've absolutely stacked it with John Cena, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, etc., etc., etc. Are all going to be in the Rumble. Drew, mate, you can't call this Rumble, mate. You
It
can't.
is it is very difficult. I mean, as you say, you could throw an argument against Roman, Cena, Punk, Rollins, McIntyre. You could even say Sami Zayn after this week with the kind of Rocky
Mm,
Balboa story that he was
yeah.
kind of throwing out there. There's lots of that. Potentially Josh
Sami Zayn
Alexander.
will fight Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
You think Sami and Seth?
Yep. I think
Right,
that's where they're
okay.
going. I think they're going to turn Sammy heel.
Okay. Yeah, get it.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers,
What
mate.
Rollins said, or what Owens said as well. Owens was the MVP this week of programming, by the way.
I loved it. Oh, by the way, the Bret Hart jacket.
Oh,
Loved it, mate.
yeah.
Loved it.
That and then I did like what you had on Saturday night's main event because obviously they had this thing where I think Dusty wore a shirt that said "son of a plumber" or something like that,
Hmm.
and he have "son of an electronics
Brilliant, mate.
supplier" or
Brilliant.
something.
And then on SmackDown, he had Jimmy Uso's
He had
wife's
Naomi's shirt on.
Naomi shirt on. It was brilliant, mate. What a guy.
And then
He's
when he
fucking
come out, he had
fantastic.
a Cody sucks eggs shirt on that's main event, which is something that I can't remember who had it now, but he had a Dusty sucks eggs one. There was a one many years
Oh.
ago. Owens is playing it brilliantly, but you mentioned the heel turn from Sammy, and it made me realize about a point. Kevin Owens on Raw
Hmm.
come out and said that he's not angry at Sammy for teaming with Roman because he knows Sammy will do the right thing in my
Sammy
match
fucking.
against Cody Rhodes at
Hmm.
Royal Rumble. Are they going there or does something else happen?
They might go there without actually going there because I still think
Yeah,
Cody comes out champion, but they
yeah,
could set something up that I'd love to see Sami Zayn as a heel and him and Owens do probably not attack. I want to keep them separate, but I can get why they would help each other if it means they get to where they want to
yeah.
get to. You need some top heels now in WWE. You really do,
Mm,
especially on Monday Night Raw. You've got them without actually having them. You need
yeah.
something that goes as we roll into the next 2 months leading up to Mania, you need someone or some people that'll be like, fucking, I fucking hate you. You know what I mean? That's why we watch wrestling. He'll be good guy versus bad guys. When you strip it all back, Netflix and fucking God knows what else, it's still always going to be good guy versus bad guy.
Yeah.
And you need some really, I would love to see Sami Zayn as an absolute arsehole.
Mm,
Turn him into one of the biggest heels you can possibly turn him against the fans, change his walk on music, change everything. And I think it'll be him and Seth. Possibly, did we get it before the Rumble Elimination Chamber? Keep forgetting
yeah.
about that.
Hmm.
So
That is
yeah,
it.
you might get that at the chamber, or they might all be in the. I think you could have in the chamber. You could have Owens, Rawlins, Sami Zayn, another. I'm going to throw Randy Orton in there just because I think
Randy.
something could happen. Yeah,
Interesting.
again, he'll be in the Rumble, won't
I would have thought he would return for the Royal Rumble to
he?
set
Yep.
something up for WrestleMania. Another one who's interesting, actually, this week is in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, they did announce Goldberg coming for this Raw.
Oh,
He's now not
yes, yes.
advertised for this week's
Woo!
Raw. As it stands right now, he's not advertised for. Logan Paul returns
Yep, interesting.
this
Like
week
Logan, like Logan.
on Raw. He's obviously going to be in the Royal Rumble. I think that's a near enough given. Actually, we're going to have to do some predictions on that on this show, actually, because the next time we sit down together
The
will
Rumble would have
be
been and gone.
the
Yeah,
Rumble would have been and gone. So what better
yeah.
time to do it? So yeah, this week on Raw, we will see the return of Logan Paul. There is that tag team title match which you've mentioned, the War Raiders against JD McDonough and Dom Mysterio. SmackDown side was interesting this week in the tag division. So they set up a match between City Machine Guns and Moxie Machine Guns won their match against Pretty Deadly, who were pretty awesome, to be fair, in their
Fucking
tag
what a
match.
team they are, by the way.
Brilliant. Loved that match. And they actually started their careers at Ignite, by the way, for those of you that don't know.
Shout out
But
Ignite.
they did. Anyway, they've set up a match between DIY Motor City Machine Guns, 2 out of 3 falls. Wrestling wise, match wise, I think that's brilliant.
Hmm.
But they both get crickets. And I'm really surprised that Machine Guns don't get a pop. Or they didn't even get pop when they I mean, I know it was announced prior to SmackDown, which I didn't really agree with. I'd rather them come out and had that moment. They didn't. But why can't both of these two teams get over? What's missing with DIY and McGuns, in your opinion? Because wrestling wise, they're brilliant.
Is it them or the fans, do you think? I don't know. Is it just where we are knowledge wise with
Yeah.
fan? And I'm not here to, we're fans, you know what I mean? Me and you, hence
Yeah.
why we're doing a bloody podcast with God knows how long now. But is it a fan thing? Is this why they've done this? We'll get to it in a second, I'm sure. Is this why they've done the thing with TNA? Because
Yeah.
we all know who the machine guns are.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of the casual quote unquote just WWE fans who don't because they've been in WWE, they're more known for TNA, I would say.
Yeah.
That's why they've had some of the best matches of their career, and they were obviously in the original. We'll call it the original TNA if we can, from where it was to where it is
Yeah.
now. And by the way, fucking love what TNA are doing right now. Yeah, I don't know if it's more of a fan thing because and I thought this weekend, Friday on SmackDown, I thought Tiffany Stratton lost her pop as well. It was all
Mm.
right, wasn't
Yeah.
great. Again, I think this is where we are. We've gone from everything being chucked. This might be the downside to where you chuck everything into a bloodline storyline
Yeah.
to where we are now. You've got to get the fans going. But yeah, I agree with you, Matt. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it because potentially, I mean, that match next on SmackDown next week. It'd be fucking
Two
incredible.
out of
And
three falls at the
two out
Rumble.
of three falls and 2 out of 3 falls at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Obviously, what's it on SmackDown next week? It's 4v4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be incredible, and that will obviously set up the Rumble. And then the 2 out of 3 falls, it's going to be an absolute banger of a match. Hopefully, the fans can appreciate. I don't know. Honestly, I genuinely don't know why they're not getting as over as they should. Because fucking hell, even the match on SmackDown, Pretty Deadly was really good.
Yeah.
If they weren't just dressed like a couple of God knows what's going down to Soho on a Friday night, yeah, I'd change their gimmick a little bit. That's
Mm.
probably where I'd go if I was booking it. But you've got to get there, I guess, to change their gimmick.
Yeah. I mean, DIY. I don't know DIY and the guns. It baffles me. Wrestling wise, I
Oh,
can't
yeah,
fault any of them.
no, mate.
DIY. Look, they got 60,000 in the arena next week. If either of these two teams don't get cheered, the DIY or the Guns next week will pop big enough. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
yes.
I have no idea, mate.
I don't know, but I agree with you with Tiffany Stratton. I don't know what's happened because is she face? Is she heel? That's one thing that we don't know. That's the big point on it. That she's kind of doing a dual role kind of thing. Sometimes she's kind of a face with a heel attitude, which is fine. But you're right. Since winning that title, she's not. I don't know whether they've not capitalized on it, whether they've just kind of. It seems to be more evolving around who attacked Jade Cargill than who's going after the women's championship.
Oh yeah, shit, I forgot about it. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, I mean, Jay Cargill's probably going to be back. Is she back
Right, I've
scheduled
got
for
to be
the
the
Rumble?
Rumble, innit?
Well, yeah, again, another one. Fucking hell. more comebacks than Kim Kardashian's back in this one Rumble. But it's yeah, I don't know, mate. It's going to be me and you were speculating last week. That's going to be Naomi. They still go down that route. As for Tiffany Stratton, it's it's all well and good while you're chasing the title and you're getting. And I think we everyone so wanted that cash in.
Yeah.
Now it's happened. I guess it's up to WWE and whoever's writing the show and the bookers and to keep it where it's meant to be. But again, it all comes back to more than anyone, mate. Look at Daniel Bryan in WWE. If the fans want it, they'll want it, and if they don't want you, a la Hulk Hogan, cut on the Netflix debut, they're going to boo you out the building.
I'm glad
You
you
know,
said back and not back shots with Kim Kardashian, by the
I
way.
nearly went there. I nearly went there.
Get into actually Saturday night's main event. Hulk Hogan was scheduled family commitments. I think he was at some wedding or
Yeah,
whatever.
I saw him. I saw the photo on Instagram this morning. Pissed his
Yeah,
fart out.
probably taken
Yeah,
3 weeks ago or something like that. But yeah,
yeah.
it was one of those. So he wasn't there. I love Jesse Ventura back on our
What a
screens.
guy.
I mean, that is. He looks like he hasn't lost a step with with him. He's so good on this. But yeah, Saturday night's main event saw, in my opinion, I mean, he was already a star in the making. But for me, he cemented the fact that if this guy isn't within this world title hunt this year, WWE needs to have a serious look at their booking, and that is Jacob Fatu.
Destroyed Strowman. Yeah, mate.
He obliterated Strowman. I mean, he's done that throughout these run with the blood. I don't think he's been pinned. Him, as in him. I know he's lost matches together,
Mm,
but I don't think he took the pin
I think
in
you're right.
any of those.
Mm.
Are they setting it up with, I don't want to say another tribal chief thing here, but is he the one that's going to take the reins, perhaps, from Solo Sikoa?
Could do. I still think they're going to go down a tag team route with them guys. I think. But yeah, Jesus Christ, absolutely obliterated Braun Strowman. And again, full disclosure, I watched the highlights because I couldn't fucking stand it. Watch it on YouTube. But even the highlights, you're like, wow, this is incredible. That could be where they go with him and Roman. Maybe
Yeah.
could do for the chamber for May. You're gonna actually no, you're gonna have Roman.
Does Jacob Fatu eliminate Roman from the Rumble?
Yes.
You think that's where?
Someone from the, yeah, as much as I think it's too easy for Roman to win, that is such an easy thing to do. Roman
Yeah.
wins the Rumble and we set up to Mania. I generally, like I said to you, I think Roman's in the final, maybe, but yeah, but I think something happens there with the bloodline, quote unquote bloodline, that Roman gets eliminated and doesn't win the Rumble. CM Punk
Interesting.
win, yeah.
It's interesting. There's just so many permutations that could go on, and we will get into the Rumble in a minute. But we'll go back to Kevin Owens quickly. He had a contract signing on a Saturday night's main event with Cody Rhodes. We mentioned the t-shirt, and it got physical. It was overseen
Okay.
by the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. It's quite weird because obviously Kevin Owens on the first Saturday night's main event, when the credits stopped rolling, he had a bit of an argument with Triple H. Now he was on the end of a sweet chin music from Shawn Michaels, who, by the way, was sweating profusely. If you took when he took that jacket off, he was sweating. But it,
He was, mate. Yeah, he was like Adam Johnson on a school run. He was not good. It was, it was bad, mate. But it's always good to see HBK drop a sweet chin music. I love. He tried to keep his hat on. He's like he literally got less. It's just about as much hair as you now.
yeah, mate. He's turning into me, which is not too bad. I've got Kurt
No,
Angles.
no, no.
He's in good company. He's in good
Yes,
company,
yes.
for sure. Just a quick note: Gunter Jey Uso had another good match on Saturday night's main event. Gunter 3-0. There was a lot of talk that perhaps Jey Uso could have won the world championship at that point. Is it going to get to a point where, because we've had two Saturday night's main events now, I've enjoyed them both. Granted, I did have to
Mm-hmm.
watch the highlights like you because I couldn't stand it on YouTube. Do they going to have to get to a point where they do something like a big title change or a big angle? Because the fans may start. I mean, look, they're doing it against Collision. We know that. There's probably reasons for that. And a little bit, there's maybe reasons why they brought out TNA. We'll get into that next. But do they have to do something soon, big, on that show for people to stop, well, to stop people losing interest?
Yeah, it depends where you go because do you want two? Say if Jay did, do you want two babyface champions on both brands? That's a
Mm.
problem. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You're gonna do you want just like the and I get it, you can sell the merchandise, etc., etc. But yeah, I mean, still a long way to go for Mania,
Mm.
for Gunter to again, he's had an okay run. He's another one. Like we mentioned Tiffany earlier. We mentioned, the losing of the pop. I
Mhm.
mean, Gunther was, me and you were talking probably 6, 7 months ago of like, this guy's going to main event WrestleMania, yada, yada, yada. He's going to go to the moon. And it's kind of not died a death, but it's kind of now in limbo, shall we say. So, yeah, in answer to your question, something big. Again, it's all going to come down to the Rumble, mate. It's
Yeah,
all going to, because, the Rumble winner is more than likely going to challenge Cody Rhodes. Let's be honest.
yeah, I
No
would have
one's going
thought
to
so.
come out on Raw the next night and go, I'm challenging Gunther. So
No.
then you need to set something up for Gunther going back into Mania. Is that Jey Uso? Potentially. Is that Randy Orton? Is it CM Punk? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Because if Punk wins the Rumble, he's technically not. Cody's on SmackDown, Punk's on Raw.
Technically, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, technically it's open at the minute, isn't it? That's the
Yeah. So there's permutations there. I don't know, mate, to be honest. Yeah, I think they need to do something. Again, hence this is why you've got Netflix now, because you've got no time restraints to what you do. You've got no worries about who you put on TV. That's the good side of that deal. I personally think they'll. I, I don't know if they'll put a title on Jey Uso. I don't know. Is he world champion? Put it this way: if I said to you, would you think he could be a world champion right now?
in the for what the WWE look for in the sense of merchandise sales and over ability, yes. Is he someone that you would rely on selling out arenas? No. That's so in ring, great. Too many super kicks, but still he gets a great match. But I wouldn't put him as the main champion. I'd have him as an underneath champion, but I wouldn't have him as the world champion. Not for me.
No, yeah, I'm with you, mate. I don't know. I honestly haven't got a fucking clue where they're going to go with that, mate. Not gonna lie to you.
And we've also still got the favor from Punk yet.
That's coming into. Could it come into somewhere with the Rumble? If Punk wins the Rumble, I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
And we still got the thing about The Rock. What's going on? We heard the other day that perhaps it's going to be reshoots of Moana that's going to cost him the WrestleMania. That was the latest one. But we all know there can be a lot of smoke blowing and shit before. Sometimes they don't play. They say these things to get out there, but reality is it's the other way. So we'll see. But we want to shout out Braun Breaker quickly and Sheamus, another great match for the IC Championship. That was a really good match. Will Sheamus end up eventually winning the IC title for you?
100% WrestleMania. Book it.
WrestleMania, is that where you're going with it? Yeah.
Book it now. He'll win it at Mania. Yeah.
Bring it up, Mania.
He won't have it long though.
No, it'd be like a quick one.
It'll be so he can put it on his accolades by the time, because he's coming to the back end of his career now. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he'll win it. I think he'll win it at Mania. I think that'll be. I think we're going to see a big shift at WrestleMania this year, bigger than we've seen in a long time. You're going to get people that are up and comers that are going to now launch to the main event status.
Yeah.
You're going to get legends not bowing out, but saying goodbye, kind of thing.
Cena,
And then
one.
and then you're off to the races. Maybe yeah, I think he wins it at Mania. I think they'll give him that. That'll be a feel good moment to say, here you go.
Win it at Mania, lose it at Backlash.
Yeah, clip that, mate. That could genuinely could happen, or lose it the next night on Raw.
Oh, fuck it. It'll be like Zack Ryder or
Yeah,
Matt Cardona, as
yeah,
we now
could be, mate.
know.
Could be.
Um, Speaking of Matt Cardona, actually, it brings me TNA. So WWE TNA, massive landscape changing, and that's when they were
Bravo.
partnering together for a few years. TNA put 4,000 in seats at Genesis the last weekend with a great show. We had Cora Jade there. We've had Wes Lee go back this week with his new cronies. So they're starting some stuff on that. Did you ever think we'd be living in a world where WWE would be partnering with another, not necessarily rival, but an alternate wrestling promotion to create what we're talking about now?
I think it just proves where Paul Levesque is as to quote someone, a visionary of where the business is going. Purely speaking, as a wrestling fan now, and someone that absolutely loves his business more than anything in the world, pretty much, apart from the NFL, obviously. I love it. I think it's such a great move, and it's fully deserved of TNA because they've been in the quote unquote shadows
Mhm.
for so many years. They had that. great little run when you had Dixie Carter, Hogan, Bischoff,
Yeah,
Kevin Nash, Scott. Yeah, we know what happened there. I mean, me and you we went to see it at Wembley Arena, and they were there and thereabouts, and then they made the then stupid move of trying to go to Monday nights and compete with Raw
yeah.
way too sooner than should have done. They've then gone down to the doldrums of moving. They've been on Discovery. They've been on so many
Pop
different net
TV.
pop TV. They've come so close to going out of business many times. And then slowly over the years, every now and again, you've just gone, oh, TNA have had a banger of a match, or oh, TNA have got this superstar there now. And you look to where we are now, and what's it? WWE aren't going to go and invest in something if they don't believe in it, and if it, and ultimately, if it can benefit WWE. You know, Vince McMahon might not be there no more, but the morals of that company will always stand. They'll do what's good for business, but ultimately what's good for WWE and the future of the business. I think it's a great move. I absolutely love. Like I said to you yesterday, I've subscribed to the TNA Plus, as I get to all the impacts. I need to figure out how I get the pay-per-views actually.
But you might need the
Um,
heavyweight thing for that.
yeah, I might need to, but yeah, I've literally I've caught up on loads of wrestling this morning. I need to watch last week's Impact, which I will do. I think it's a great move for wrestling, mate. And it just proves, and again, people were like, oh, this is a whole WWE trying to buy the business. And what does it mean for, like, you look at AEW and you get into that whole argument, well, why don't they, is Shane McMahon now going to go and invest in AEW? Is
Have
Vince
it
McMahon?
done.
No, you know, Jesus Christ. I mean, you could put AEW on Dragon's Den and no one's investing. It's one of them. I think, yeah, okay, mate. Um,
You know.
Great move for the business, mate. Honestly, such a good move, and it opens doors for talent because now you've got not only have you got NXT, you've got all the talent in TNA, and it does wonders for TNA because there will come a time when you're going to see big stars from WWE on TNA television.
I was also saying that from a from a standpoint of getting more people, getting more eyes, maybe downloading the app and that is that from an international perspective,
Oh,
anyone that shows up on
huge.
NXT is going to be on Netflix.
Yeah,
Oh,
huge,
from
mate.
TNA, sorry. Anyone that
TNA,
shows up
yeah,
from TNA on NXT
huge.
on Netflix.
And you might have to watch when you're watching an NXT on a Wednesday, you might have to tune into TNA the next night to know what's happened. So now you've got Monday nights, you've got Wednesday nights. Now you can throw in a Thursday night there with TNA because you might have to something could have happened on NXT. I'm tuning into TNA on the next
Yeah,
night, which then leaded into SmackDown, and et cetera, mate.
I think
Can only be good for the business, mate. Honestly, I think it's a great move for wrestling.
yeah, I think so. And also coincidentally, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Joe Hendry has challenged John Cena, which
Mm.
considering where we're going to be this time next Saturday, could there be a showdown in the Rumble between Joe Hendry and John Cena?
And then set it up at the Rumble, and then if you've got any sense, put it as a main event on a TNA pay-per-view.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah, I can imagine that.
Could you imagine? You just mentioned there international buy rates,
Yeah,
subscribers to the app. If
yeah,
you really want to go, and I don't use this term lightly, quote unquote, help TNA because you're not. They're all pretty much one now. But you have Joe. I don't know what's the next TNA pay per view, mate. You're not going to know before me coming up. Is there one in February?
Right, fuck, I'm
Something
gonna
like I
need.
put yeah. But whenever the next TNA pay per view is, if you really want to do it, and again, they'll probably maybe long it out to Mania because what a showcase for TNA that would be. But if you really want to push TNA, or do you put John Cena on an Impact episode? Could you imagine that
You could sacrifices in March in El Paso, Texas.
main event? Joe Henry, John Cena. Could you imagine
Could
John
or
Cena on his last run on a TNA pay per view?
two other places. I mean, they've only announced a couple, so there's going to be more to be announced generally as it
Hmm.
goes through the year. There's TNA Rebellion on April 27th, which is not
Hmm.
long after. Or a bit further down the line, I know, but July 20th is Slammiversary.
Yeah, that's their WrestleMania, isn't it? So yeah,
And Bound for
potential.
Glory is as
Well,
well, which
Bound
is
for
in
Glory,
October.
yeah. I've always loved Slammiversary for me has always been loved it. Yeah, if you really want to get it over and you really want to push TNA, put a top John Cena on it. Don't do that Joe Henry match on WWE, quote unquote WWE TV.
Hmm.
Do it on Impact. Do it on a pay per view. Get the buy. it's kind of TNA is kind of like the old school. You have to buy it, you have to have that extra subscription, don't you, Ad? So
Yeah.
what a way for people to go, I'd buy it today if they announced it, just for that match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
makes good business sense, and it makes sense that it would be so beneficial for TNA.
There's also the possibility because, and again, I read this. I don't know how true this is, but WWE could be helping TNA get more deals internationally. There was the one in Sports Center in Canada. WWE went off of that. TNA are on it. There's talk of TNA potentially WWE looking into TNA going on to TNT Sports over here in the UK and taking the WWE's place. Is that a move that you could see happening?
I want to get another TNT subscription. Mate, if I'm honest. Just got rid of it. Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, any exposure that Impact and TNA get now is good. We're
Yeah,
here. Everyone's talking. A lot of more people now are talking about it in January 2025 than they were January 2024.
definitely.
We all knew of it. You were doing shows on Hitting the Turnbuckle. You and I were talking about it. We've done a few review shows of Impact. Me, you, and Dave sat down and talked about it. But to where it is now, I listen to God knows how many wrestling podcasts, and everyone's talking about TNA.
Yeah.
They're all talking about it. It's done what it had to do. Whether it comes on like our sports channels over here, I don't know how that would go. I ain't sure, to be honest.
Mm.
I'm not. Yeah, don't get me wrong. You ain't gonna fucking know. You're not gonna. No donut's gonna put it on ITV4. Fucking idiots do that. It's not gonna be that. Put it on Netflix. You've got to deal with them. Use
Yeah,
them.
yeah, makes sense.
But you've got all these people with this subscription, this TNA Plus app. I get it, but do you do something that is TNA's own app? They don't have to. They can just say, "Well, we're on Netflix." What a way to get your weekly show on a Thursday. What did Michael Cole say? How many percentages of the world have got a Netflix subscription? You
Yeah,
know what I
80
mean?
or something like
80%? Imagine Impact
that.
on Netflix on a Thursday night. Why not?
Why not? No, why not? Is there any also talk, is there any possibility that WWE may end up purchasing TNA?
We should say they already haven't.
I think there's something contractually with MLW that's I haven't read the full story, but there was a lot of talk about WWE owning TNA, and then there was something that's I don't know if it was a lawsuit or something. There's a contractual issue with MLW or something along those lines. So I'm not fully sure about it, but I'm not. So whether they own it now or not, I don't know. But in the future, why
Oh,
not?
hell yeah. Hell yeah, mate. Why not?
They wouldn't. I don't think they'd be putting that much effort into what they're doing if they wasn't
Nah,
doing something.
WWE don't do anything without an ultimately benefiting WWE. Like I said a few
Yeah.
minutes ago, it's Vince McMahon not but be there anymore, but that runs through that company. They're only going to do things now that benefit WWE.
Fucking Nick Khan's there. If you want in, he was the one that was doing the WWE television deals for them before, like years before he become president. So
Hmm.
he's not stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing, Nick Khan, and he's done a great job at it. So there was also still talk of WrestleMania coming to London, but they said the earliest, they potentially now it's the earliest is 2028.
Look, we'd love it. Absolutely love WrestleMania in London. Again, I was talking to someone about this the other day. Everyone's like, "Oh, Andy, do you think we'll ever get a Super Bowl in London?" So difficult to do, mate.
Hmm.
So difficult. Both them events are so. WrestleMania will probably be a little bit easier than the Super Bowl. I know probably the one and only thing that dickhead Sadiq Khan has done that's any good is chat to WWE about bringing
Absolutely.
WrestleMania to London. Yeah, honestly, guy is absolutely useless at his job. The only decent thing that for me, as someone that lives just outside of London, that he's done is it's open talks with. I think WWE want to do it. That's the
Hmm.
good thing.
Yeah.
How, where, why? It's a risk doing it because the time SummerSlam '92, we all know the time zone, but I think it could happen. I want it to happen.
Hmm.
I'm just not sure if it ever will.
Because the interesting thing is that I know this isn't WrestleMania, but when they go into Europe and do their Europe tours, it's
Mm,
airing live on Netflix at the
yeah,
time of
that'd be good for us.
recording,
Yeah, we can watch Raw 7, 8 o'clock at
eight
night. You
o'clock at
know what I
night.
mean? And single. By the way, I don't know what you're doing, but single tickets gone sell Friday.
I have
Just
heard
throwing it
that.
out there, mate. Me and you,
I know, I know, yeah,
good
I
very
know,
much.
I have heard that.
That's
I
right.
have heard that paying £207 for a nosebleed isn't quite what I was.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but single tickets for SmackDown and obviously Raw gone sell this coming
Yes.
Friday, the
And
31st.
there's
So
plenty available. Surprise, surprise. If you go on the O2 website, you will see what
yeah,
I mean there.
I think they'll have to drop some of them prices, mate. But
Are
yeah,
they are they in danger of doing something like that where they could look at it, not to say AEW embarrassing, but it could get to that point where they go to stream a Raw and the attendance is shit because of the ticket prices.
it's never gonna be AEW shit. You'd have to have me and you main eventing for it to be that.
We'd
It's
get ratings,
yeah,
mate.
yeah.
Don't
Well,
worry.
I reckon we could do it, mate. Got a
Right, we'll
bang
be
of a
right.
match. I don't know what it would be.
Sell ourselves short, mate, don't we?
Oh Jesus! But yeah, potentially, mate. I mean, that's another. I think that's sport worldwide. And obviously, I know we just
Hmm.
said we're going to chat about anything on this show. I think sport worldwide is overpricing fans with everything now.
Hmm.
I spoke to someone about a couple of months ago. They want to go to the Ryder Cup. I think like, the cheapest ticket's like 3 grand just to go into like one day. So I think sport, sports entertainment. Never forget the people that got you where you need to get. Charging £250 for a nosebleed in the O2 is you're going to know better than me. Is who sets the prices? It can't. Is it WWE? Is it the
Yeah,
O2? You know,
WWE set the ticket
yeah.
prices.
So I mean, that's fucking bullshit then because you look at the amount of families and the amount of kids. We're involved with Ignite. You're heavily involved with Ignite. And I'm not comparing WWE. I'm not comparing the promotions, but you want to make wrestling affordable.
Hmm.
You want families to come. You want to. When we were younger, we went with our parent. My mum and dad took me to SummerSlam 92. Went with my aunties, uncles, and everything like that. It was like
Yeah,
40, 50 quid. And I was like 8 rows back at SummerSlam 92
yeah,
on the aisle. Got to, Bret Hart slapped my hand, etc., etc. You don't want to. Nowadays, if you've got 2 kids, you want to take your son. I want to take my daughter. You're paying £200 for your ticket. You're paying like £200 for your son's ticket. You're paying £100 for Rachel's ticket. Your lovely better half. You know, there's 600 quid before you've left the house.
yeah. And that's for nosebleed.
That's for nosebleeds. So if you want to have, people sign up to these premier tickets where you get to have your picture taken next, who's realistically shelling out 3 and 4 grand for a wrestling ticket?
Idiots.
Come on now, WWE. For all the good that WWE are doing and wrestling's doing, make it affordable for the people that literally make your company. Without us, you've got no one. I say this about football all the time, Ad. Me
Yeah,
and you just mentioned Tottenham there. Don't turn up.
yeah,
Then you watch them go, oh, Jesus Christ, we're charging £90 for Leicester at home. You
yeah.
know, don't turn
No,
up. You know,
£90 for a relegation scrap at the minute. By the way.
yeah, the only problem with Tottenham is the seats face the pitch.
Yeah, exactly that. Right, before we wrap up, let's do Royal Rumble predictions. I'm going to go bottom up for those on Wikipedia. Normally I go top to bottom. Now I'm going bottom to top. It just feels rightly. 2 out of 3 falls for the tag titles. Who's winning? DIY, are they retaining or are the Machine Guns going to start their second run?
DIY win.
You went DIY?
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm going to go for the Guns. I just think the first one was so shit. They done dirty on their
Yeah, I
first
think
one.
DIY end up. I think Pretty Deadly end up winning the titles.
Could be. Yeah, could be right on that. Could well be right. We'll find out. Hopefully they should have won it last year when they brought it up, when they brought
Yeah.
SmackDown and that over to here. They've
Hmm.
done.
Agreed, mate. Agreed.
There we go. I think this match is quite obvious, but there's a lot of interesting bits. So both the Undisputed Championship and the Winged Eagle belts are going to be suspended above the ladder for this ladder match between Kevin and Cody. There's only 4 matches currently announced. If there is another match, we can't. Time of recording. For me, I mean, Cody retains this obviously, but I'm just intrigued as to what happens in the match.
I'm with you. Cody retains, but it's set. There's going to be a setup.
Hmm.
It's wrestling. Like it's going to, of course, something. Sami Zayn, something's going to happen where we're going to go. Yes, we're off to the
Is
races.
is where they put the matches on this important as to where we're going with a storyline? So, i.e., if Cody main events, could that mean that the winner of that men's Royal Rumble comes? That's who challenges Cody there and then, but he comes out and they have some kind of face off or something along those lines.
I think Cody and Kevin Owens will open the show.
Open it.
Yeah.
I thought the women's Royal Rumble might open it personally,
I've
but
got a feeling that they could open it. I think the men's Royal Rumble will main event it.
okay.
Yeah, but mate, you could hit the nail on the head there. I don't think where you put it on the show. I'm not sure that really matters, in my opinion. I just think it's going to be something's going to be set up.
Mm,
for you've got to keep KO in that mix somehow.
mm.
I mean, fuck me. Imagine if they do swerve it and KO wins. Whew, that would be. I mean, title doesn't really change hands much at the Rumble.
No,
Can't
normally
remember the. Do you know the last one I can actually remember? And I'm probably wrong here. So someone at HTT,
someone
but
will tell us. Yeah,
The Rock beating Punk.
could have been.
The last one I can remember. I'm probably wrong there.
Triple
And
H won the Royal Rumble, didn't he?
for the
Won the belt.
title, was that after part? Was that after The
Mm.
Rock?
Yeah, because
Was
Roman
it?
Reigns beat him, didn't he? Then someone.
There you go.
No,
Yes,
Daniel
because that's
Bryan beat him WrestleMania 30.
yeah. There you go. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, no,
They
you're right. It
tend
doesn't.
not to do it a lot. I mean, the Chamber's the one that's more
Yeah,
interesting now for WrestleMania ramifications.
yeah.
Geez, I just used the word
Quite
ramification.
weird though, because Gunter isn't defending. None of the women are defending as of us
Yeah, good
recording.
now. Yeah, I mean, it's it's on TV and is that are there restrictions on time or is it just purely Netflix? This
It's purely Netflix. They can go as long as they need.
worldwide. Yeah, so yeah, I think Gunter. Yeah, we'll find maybe more tomorrow night on Raw.
Hmm.
But yeah, as for I think Owens retains, but it's not going to be a straightforward. It's going to be a. I hope Sammy doesn't cost KO and then they go down that route again.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if they could swerve it and put it on KO, and then you get Cody winning it back at Mania. Just throwing
Mm.
that out there as a flippant comment.
Maybe. I think we both agree Cody, in our opinion, is winning
Yeah,
it.
with
That's as
ramifications.
it
Yeah,
right now. Yeah, with
yes,
ramifications.
sir. Oh yeah.
Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh, fuck.
It's not easy. I mean, both of them ain't easy, but I think it depends who's in it.
In it, yeah, it's obvious to go Charlotte, Becky, another. Bailey won't win it.
No,
Um, I'll go Becky or Charlotte. I'll have to go one of them. I'll go Charlotte Flair
we go Charlotte.
because
Well,
she's a safe. She's a safe bet.
I'm gonna go the other way. I'll go Becky. I think Becky will
Yeah,
win.
you. Yeah, again. Yeah.
But I just think it's who's in it. That's the thing. Is the AJ Lee thing going to happen? We don't know. So it's who's in it. That's gonna be the teller, and we don't know. So
It's who do you want in a quote unquote women's main event at Mania?
that's where you're looking at, isn't it? That's what you're looking at. It's who does WWE see as the woman that, and I think we've probably hit it right with the two that we've said,
Mm.
given who the champions are.
Very surprised if it's not.
Yeah, I
AJ
mean,
Lee
unless
throws a
Jordan Grace
complete
is the
spanner.
Jordan
Jordan
Grace is
Grace
making it
wins
work.
it. Fuck hell yeah, all up
Yeah,
for it. If they've got the balls to let her win that,
yeah. Because that could then say Jordan and Rhea, which would be amazing at WrestleMania. That is a WrestleMania caliber main event without a shadow of a doubt. But we'll
100%, mate.
see. And then probably the most unpredictable Royal Rumble in memory right now, the men's Royal Rumble. As we've said all along, there are so many palpitations. You could vouch and give reasons for so many people to win it. Putting you on the spot now, who wins it?
CM Punk.
CM Punk. I was going to say Punk. But because now you've said I'm going to go somewhere different, I'm going to go for the obvious one. I'm going to say Cena, but I don't think he will. I'm just doing it to be different because you've said Punk. My,
Yeah, I hope not, mate. To be honest, and that's not bad against Cena, but he's gonna get the title at some time this year
yeah,
for a couple of weeks, a
yeah.
month, because when you put it on him, you kind of does he? I still think he ends his career.
Hmm.
He relinquishes the belt at Survivor Series because that will be his whole year. He'll have it. So whatever the paper, he could win it at Survivor Series, relinquish it there and then right up into the sunset. Yada yada. Yeah, I mean, I think Punk. Just think he's destined eventually. God bless, knock on wood, first time this episode that he doesn't get injured leading into Mania. It's too obvious for it to be Roman.
Yeah,
Potentially could be though. But the problem you've got is, mate, Roman's going to be in the main event at WrestleMania.
yeah.
How? Because that only leaves the Chamber. If he doesn't
Exactly
win the
that.
Rumble, that leaves the Chamber.
Yeah.
I don't think the main event at Mania for Cody's title will be one on one.
Oh, it could be more people involved.
100%. I
Maybe
think that's
Roman wins the Rumble, Punk uses his favor from Heyman and gets in.
uses his favor to get into the Chamber.
Yeah, so or just gets into the main event. That's
Yeah. You need to get me into the main event. Yeah.
yeah,
Good gimmick.
somehow.
Yeah.
maybe. Well, by the time we sit down this time next week, we
Yes,
will
sir.
know for
Yes.
sure. And that's one thing. It's the most exciting time of the year to be a wrestling fan, especially in
Mm.
the WWE when you've got all of this crazy stuff happening. WrestleMania, the road to WrestleMania officially starts Saturday night. We'll look forward to it. I wish you well today in the.
Oh,
I will keep my eyes on the Washington score. I know it's a big game, but you do have another podcast. You have plenty of podcasts. You've got Dunstable, you've got
mm.
Washington, but you do have one completed. It is there anything going on that you
Yeah,
can
so
let us
back
know?
recording this week coming up. I had a little family bereavement last week, so I couldn't do any didn't do any shows last week. But yeah, at completed it pod, just movies, TV, reviewing movies. So sitting down and reviewing Sonic 3 and Mufasa next week. For those that like their movies and TV shows, come check us out.
Great. We'll drop in this week on here. Sean Mooney, our great chat with Sean Mooney that we
Go
had.
on, Sean, man. What a
That is
chat.
dropping on Tuesday. Dropping on Wednesday, Independent Showcase with Adam Bolts. Dropping next week, United Wrestling on Independent Showcase and former NWA Tag Team, two-time NWA US Tag Team Champion Daisy Kill. I'll be speaking to former AEW wrestler Fuego del Sol tomorrow on the channel, and obviously we've soon got RVD. Once we work out time differences, he's in like Pacific time, so
Oh, sheesh.
yeah, it's going to be
Can't
one of
wait to
those ones.
podcast at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping more late evening, but we've just got to wait for that to come in. But that is definitely happening, so we are going to have Van Dam on. It's just a matter of when and everything else. But HTT Buckle on X. Oh, by the way, we'll both all be at Ignite on the 9th of February. If you're coming along, I know there's limited tickets left to see someone that's been on AEW, funnily enough, Tate Mayfair's. And John Bradshaw Layfield tweeted about Tate Mayfair's, and we responded to say, February 9th, if you're not doing anything, Mr. Clothesline Merchant.
I swear to God, if you pull that one off, I'm going to build a statue of you in Boreham Wood.
Well, honestly, it's not going to happen. But anyway, look forward to that. But anyway, catch up on us at HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle Podcast on Instagram, Hitting the Turnbuckle Podcast on Blue Sky, and Hitting the Turnbuckle Podcast on TikTok. And you'll be happy to know, Andy, I'm recording in an hour with AEW that will go out on Monday. But
I put my hand on my heart when I say this. I won't be fucking watching
you won't be watching.
that.
Other people will. Me and
I
him will
know
be
they will.
back. Me and him will be back this time next week for the Royal Rumble,
Oh,
and we'll now know who's going to WrestleMania. But until then, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.